Now, the Bram Weinstein Show on Washington's new home for sports, ESPN 630.
Hey, babies. Hey, babies and babies and babies. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. Check this out. Callow broke the studio earlier today. Look at this. Show this to the YouTube people. Look at that.
I didn't break the studio.
Alex said he came in here and he moved a microphone and he broke it. Look at it. Look at that. That's awesome. Nice job.
So I just want to reiterate.
Here's the rest of it. Look at that. This is the one I like to use. This is a little small one now. Now I'm all messed up. Check this thing out. Look at that. Callow broke that. And let me tell you something. Our budget here is thin, so we're not going to be fixing nothing. Tell you that much.
Here's what happened.
Yeah.
In for Andy this morning. When I'm in for Andy, I produce the show and I talk.
Yeah.
9:58. 2 minutes before I'm going on the air, I go to pull the mic down, and the whole thing comes out of the socket.
Yeah.
Like, where the screws are. Try to screw them in real quick. No, it's stripped. Can't do it. Swing the mic around. Just get on the air, whatever.
Got to be gentle with the equipment, Callow. Got to be gentle.
Then at 12 o'clock, when I'm done,
fine-tuned equipment.
our friend Jeff Wolf comes in and said, I thought we fixed it yesterday. When it got moved for the other part-time board op yesterday, they thought they had settled it perfectly fine. I was set up this morning.
You're set up to fail is what happened. Got it. Okay. So you've had a rough Monday. I spilled coffee on myself on the way over to the park.
That's always rough.
Yeah. And it was like 8,000 degrees outside today. It's accumulating.
You still hot coffee on yourself? Why are you drinking hot coffee?
I like hot coffee.
Iced coffee
in the morning.
This time. Yeah.
In the morning, I do iced coffee midday. I need hot. I don't know. I need hot coffee in the morning so that I can,
I already know you're a little weird, but that is.
I need hot coffee in the morning. It wakes me up. The iced coffee doesn't work for me in the morning. Iced coffee's a midday thing. Okay. What? That's weird.
A little weird.
That's weird. Drinking coffee in the morning is weird.
Hot coffee.
Okay.
Hot coffee where we live is a little weird.
Okay, Solomon Grundy, breaking all the equipment in here. I'm weird. I drank coffee. You broke the studio, and I'm weird. Okay. Why don't you tell the truth? You had some rage out the thing this morning. Look at this.
Definitely not. You know me. That's the last thing that would happen.
Oh, man. I'm weird for drinking coffee in the morning. Well, I can't win if that's the case.
I'm saying.
I ordered coffee in the morning. Well, you're weird then.
I'm saying. Hot coffee in this weather.
I was in my car. It was, it was nice.
All right.
And then, and then I spilled it all over myself.
Yeah.
And then went to practice like that. So I looked like a sloppy mess.
Oh, like were you wearing khakis or what?
Yeah, I wear pants. Yeah, I don't like wearing shorts.
Right.
Unless it's a beach or pool scenario. So. I did wear them to Six Flags yesterday. I did wear shorts.
Oh.
Yesterday was my first day in a while where I didn't have anything to do. And so I just told my kids, I'm like, let's go do something. I want to go do something.
Okay.
And they settled on Six Flags, of which I was like...
You're like, I immediately regret this decision.
Well, yeah. I'm like, one, I don't want to go there. But okay, because nothing against Six Flags. I'm just not an amusement park person. But whatever, fine.
Right.
And then like, two... I wanted to go do something that didn't involve me standing outside for 5 hours straight, which I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. But that's where they wanted to go.
Six Flags does have a water park, though.
They did, and we didn't go in it. But we did go to the water rides. Because I demanded, I said, at some point, I need to go and get, the splashdown.
That's right.
So we went on the penguin thing where they spin you around and you end up and you get the,
That sucker's crazy.
Yeah, and then you get hit.
Yeah,
you get hit.
Right.
But I loved the hit. The hit was great.
All right, fair enough.
Made my day.
There you go. Okay.
Then I ordered hot coffee. No. All right. Let's see. All right. Let me tell you this little new thing, too.
Yes.
You can text us here. Okay?
That's right.
And my favorite part of this is Callow's monitoring it. So if you want to mess with him, you can just text him.
Oh, you'll have your own monitor over there in a sec, too.
Oh, okay.
Like I just have to set you up, but it's
in
easy.
2026 that'll happen?
No,
oh, okay.
Like tomorrow.
Maybe if we have microphones. Let's see. Okay, the text line. I'll go slow.
Yeah,
so you
enter
guys
this
can...
into your phone, and then you just have us. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like getting the girl's number these days. You just gotta put it in your phone, and then you have us.
It's a lot of numbers too. Okay, 1-833-377-6630. 833-377-6630. If you want to DM me, and I'll send you the number, you can't. I still don't have Twitter.
I was going to say, you're still locked out of Twitter.
Well, I got the Empire Media one back.
Oh, okay. That's good at least.
So at least I'm monitoring things again.
Get your business account back at
least. but I feel is odd here because they were controlled by I don't know why I'm saying this publicly, the same email. Why would one work and the other one wouldn't?
Yeah, and you're verified too. So
I don't know. Anyway, I still haven't gotten that back. I've still sent notes to Twitter. I still get no response from them. We're going on week 2. I don't have my Twitter account. It doesn't exist.
Got it.
Their response is it doesn't exist currently.
That's not true.
Well, of course it exists. I lived in it.
Right.
It exists.
Yeah.
It's not a hoax. I didn't make that up.
You didn't tweet often, but it's there.
Yeah, it's there. 833-377-6630. You can actually text Callow, and he'll tell me if you texted us.
That's right.
The reason why we're also telling you that is because we're going to give away tickets to the game against the Cubs for the Orioles next Thursday. It's a day game. I think it's a makeup of something because it's a one-off, and it's happening at 3:05. And because it's happening at 3:05, we don't have a show to do that day. So Callow and I are going to go to the game, and we're going to take how many people with us? Do we know what the number is yet?
I can't confirm, but I'm efforting 10 pairs of tickets.
Okay, so maybe up to 20 people can come with us. We're going to do the whole thing. Pickles Pub, go to the game. It's going to be a whole shebang.
It's all being, marketed around. We don't have a show that day.
Yeah.
So come play hooky with us.
And, if you're wondering, why don't you just have people call in? That's a really good idea. But in this studio,
since our existence,
you may have noticed we don't take phone calls here because we kind of can't. Now, which I'm looking at this broken microphone going, when's that going to get fixed? Never. So here's the deal, guys. Text us while you can. We got one mic left. There is one phone line where we can call somebody. And then at some point, I feel like this studio will fall into a sinkhole at some point and just disappear entirely.
You're not far off.
Yeah, one day you're going to text me and go, don't come in today. The studio fell into the sinkhole as you predicted. There's no show. Okay.
2654 has texted in.
2654? That's what we get now?
I'm going to use their last 4 digits of their phone number.
We won't have names. We're just going to get numbers.
Yeah, you can give me your name. And I'll say it, and it's just our first text is you guys rock. So that means everything.
Very good.
Everything from here on out is going to be terrible, probably.
No, this is gravy, though. That someone actually did it. It's gravy.
That's true.
I feel like we're doing radio with homing pigeons. All of the amenities that were available to radio shows 50 years ago aren't available to us. Barely working mics, sinkhole studio. You've got to text us.
Calm down there, Andy. Just calm down there over there.
Oh, I'm not as bad as Andy, and you know it. I'm not half as bad as Andy, and you
Everything's
know it.
working. We're good.
That's
We're
right.
on the air.
That's right. Okay, thank you for our first text, 2654. Thank you. Actually, I just prefer the numbers. I like the numbers.
Yeah, because people know who it is. We're not giving out their phone numbers.
Yeah, it's out of Walking Dead now. Everybody's just got a number.
Right.
This is the Walking Dead radio show. Walking Dead sports show.
Someday we'll get new studios and have that all capabilities back. But,
sure we will. Sure.
I've been reassured.
Oh, is that right? When's that happening? Don't answer that question because I'll remember it and I'll write it down. You said on blah, blah, blah. Eventually. Okay, you want to talk about the practice the other day?
Sure. Saturday, right?
Sure. Saturday, yes. Saturday we had our first open practice. I saw some people complain about the size of the crowd, of which I don't know why anybody felt that way. There were a lot of people there the other night, so the people who decided to write articles just dumping on the people who did show up, I didn't really understand that, but whatever, fine, fine. I won't go too crazy about that. I thought that was a bigger crowd than I anticipated showing up to that. It's an open practice on a Saturday.
Did they announce attendance?
90-something degrees outside. I didn't know what to expect. I know that all the tickets, I think they allotted 25,000, and they were all gone. But, they're free, and you can just take them.
Right.
And, so you don't know, you don't know how many people are actually going to show up.
Right.
It's free just to say, I want them. I don't know what the number was, but a good portion of the lower bowl was kind of filled up. So I don't know why people were complaining about the attendance. I actually thought that was a very promising thing that happened over the weekend, that there were that many people showed up to that. But, some people have just decided no matter what happens, it's got to be bad. They just decided that.
I saw one was saying, because the Bills had 31,000 people show up. That the Commanders aren't that. And I would say, one, weather's kind of favorable up there right now to go see a practice.
They're a Super Bowl contender.
They're a Super Bowl contender, yes.
They have like maybe the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Just gonna say something, and maybe it'll offend people in Buffalo. There's other things to do around here on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but there's a lot of other things to go do to go watch practice.
Yeah, I would just,
Buffalo, that's the only game in town.
I don't like to spend a lot of time on it because like then people just think I'm just like carrying water for the organization, which I guess I am in this moment. But I was surprised to read any negative reaction because I don't know. My gut reaction was there were more people there than I expected to see. So I thought that was actually a positive sign. All right, so to the practice itself.
Yes.
Okay, so finally, and maybe it's because it happened in an open setting, right? Like they've had open training camp, but the fans are, while they're close proximity, you can't get the look and feel of what's going on like you can sitting in the stadium. And I think because you got to see it on display, Ron Rivera finally felt it necessary to acknowledge something that has been happening for the first couple of weeks, which is there are a lot of incompletions, like a lot, an inordinate amount of them. And I've been talking about it here, and I'm willing to hear out everybody's spin or reasoning for it. And there's a lot of it. There's, we're not game planning. The receivers are, learning the route concepts with him. The timing may be a little bit off. And then in the 11-on-11 stuff, the offensive line's getting its lunch eaten on every play. And I know for a fact that some of the coaches have asked the defensive linemen, specifically the starters, to back off just a touch and stop blowing everything up because the offense needs to practice a little bit here. And you're going against largely some backups because Roulier's been barely practicing with the first team. Schweitzer's had to move. Trey Turner's not out there. It's not the group that they have. And so they've asked these guys, we appreciate that you all are like National Geographic and want to jump on the injured gazelle, but please stop doing it to us, hold back just a little bit. So there's a lot of reasons up to this point that I've heard why they'll happen. I would also counter by saying, my eyes don't deceive me. I know what I'm seeing here, and I'm not sitting here saying it can't get rectified or that all these other things aren't happening too, and it all shouldn't be blamed on Wentz. But for the first time, I felt like he at least acknowledged that is happening. You guys are too hard on him, was the way he put it.
Right.
But it is happening. So I think we're in a place where now we're at least having the conversation. And it's maybe because it was in the stadium and all the fans literally saw what we've seen for 2 weeks, which is every once in a while he throws a dart 60 yards down the field and you're like, we haven't had that in a long time. And he had a great pass to McLaurin at the corner of the end zone. First time I've seen them kind of connect like that on any play in 2 weeks. And then there's 10 of them where you go, that's off by 3 feet. That's not even close. I don't know what's going on here. And so, welcome to our world, everybody. This is what's been happening for 2 weeks. And I'm trying not to get too, wigged out about the whole thing. But it happened, and I'm glad at least it's being acknowledged now.
And I actually share the same sentiment with Ron, where he said, yes, it's been happening, but I also don't think he's been as bad as everyone has been kind of saying.
So for all the reasons I listed, there's a lot of things. People are in my ear and other people's ear who are out there all the time saying, I know what you're seeing. I know what you want to say. And these are some of the reasons why. Give it at least a full context. And I'm willing. I'm not a coach or a scout, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I am. I also know what I'm looking at. And if he is that inaccurate in real games, I don't care whose fault it is, there's going to be problems. I just know it. Like, a foot off in this game is either someone getting blown up, a play not getting the amount of yards it should have, which is the best case scenario, or a turnover. That's what happens.
Right.
And I'm seeing too much of it. And I'm happy they're at least coming out and acknowledging that we're not idiots and we're not, making stuff up out of it. We're not. You're like, it is what it is. The inaccuracy is a problem. I will hear out that there are other issues and it's not all him. And I want to be fair to him too, because I don't think it's fair to blast him and say it's all him. It isn't. Like, I've seen their offensive line get destroyed in practice, and numerous times I'm like, he's getting sacked on that play, or he's just running that's not what they were trying to practice. He's like running out of there because Sweat's about to kill him. So I know it's not all him, but I'm glad we're acknowledging it does exist. Let's stop pretending it doesn't exist.
Sure. I'm with you there.
And I think for Rivera, this is a tricky one. And from the get-go, I felt like there's a lot of eggs he put in his basket. It's the first time I think he's done something like that since he's been the head coach. They've made signings, and, listen, the Curtis Samuel one to this point has not worked out. But that's not one where if it doesn't go right, you're not happy about it. But it's not one of those, it's not a referendum one.
Yep, right.
This is one where you go, you've got to be right on some level about it, because it's a big move. It's for assets. You're paying him a lot of money. It changed your cap structure overnight. And even you yourself are saying we need to start kind of winning, and you need better quarterback play to do it. You went and signed this quarterback. We don't need to rehash the whole kind of desperate way it got to that point and how interesting they just jumped on that the second it became available to them. It needs to work. He doesn't have to be Mahomes. He doesn't have to be a top 5 passer, but he can't be bad. I mean, that's the reality here.
Correct.
He can't be bad. So I think for a while they were like, listen, it's early. I know it doesn't look great if you go by the results. It's early. I think now 2 weeks in, if you don't start at least acknowledging that we are seeing what we're seeing, then I don't think you're being honest about what the problem is. And so I was glad to hear that they finally did it. And Wentz spoke. And I'm starting to get accustomed to how, it takes a little while to figure out how do people answer questions. And we had him on the field. Julie, Logan Paulson, and myself had him on the field, in the bowl, talking and on the radio when we did the broadcast the other night. And he said the same thing after the game. And I actually thought, in his own way, he was actually very honest about it. Because my question to him was, it was just a very broad, how's the offense coming along? And I didn't mean it in a gotcha way, just like, I want to hear what you have to say about this. And he said, there's a lot to work out, that there are some things that we're working out together, and some of it is on me. He took, which is something you heard about him in the past and he wouldn't do. Some of it's on me. So I'm hoping that it's August 8th. We're still over a month away from a real game. There's a lot of time left, and that everybody at least now is having let's have just at least a frank conversation, that we're going to stop ignoring what's happening out there, and we can start talking about it a little bit.
I will say this too, though, and why I'm not really concerned is because the first thing I've heard about him is that he's hard worker, puts the work in. I
can attest to that.
I go to John Allen's quote I think it was last week or the week before, where he was like, the guy works his ass off. That's all you can ask for anybody now.
Let me of the things that were complained about with him, and the accuracy is one of them, but the other one, the stuff the Colts kind of threw at him about being a bad teammate and doesn't relate and all that stuff, and I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah.
So granted, I'm not in the building with him, and I don't see how he's relating, but that one to me, I haven't gotten a whiff of that. So that's the good news.
Yeah.
All that stuff seems to be things he either dealt with in the past or maybe was a little too harsh. Because is he do I get the impression he's the dude everybody hangs out with? No, not at all. But do I get the impression they don't like him or they can't relate to him? I don't get that either. So maybe he's matured a little bit, and maybe that was a little overstated, at least in Indianapolis's case. At least from my experience so far, that's not a problem. And that's a relief, actually, because you hear these things, and then people, you don't know. That's a relief. The other stuff, which is what I saw in film, watching him, that's alive and real. And, that's got to change. If it doesn't, they're going to be in trouble. And then secondarily, I'll tell you what, my biggest concern right now is the offensive line of this team, 2 weeks in. Biggest, by far, bar none, biggest concern, and partially because of him, because there's accuracy things that are going on, and they're trying to work out in whatever way that's going to work out. But right now, the fact that I even have to say the D-line needs to back off a little bit because these guys are getting blown up day after day, that ought to tell you something. This is the part of the roster that worries me the most, and it worried me from the spring on. When Sheriff left, which is not their fault, he just wanted to take someone else's money, he didn't want their money. When they then couldn't work something out with Flowers, well, who are your starters here?
Right.
And they went and got a couple of guys that they know well and have played for a long time, but they were available for a reason at a cut rate. And they come in. Now one of them's been hurt for a week and a half. Roulier's coming off PUP, but is only doing some limited stuff. And I'm hoping he'll be ready by week 1, but he's not doing a lot. They're on a third center again, in practice. Schweitzer's swinging around. I don't know. Like, you want to be freaked out about something with early returns. It's that the offensive line is not going to be as effective as it was. And I'm willing to buy into the Matsko Kool-Aid and go, I've seen them do this before where they end up being good.
Right.
That's where I'm worried. And then that falls back on Wentz where I go, if that pocket's going to be breaking down all the time, he better be really accurate. And if he's not going to be on air in shorts and T-shirts, uh-oh.
I mean, I would at least say in that retrospect, looking at last year, they did piece together offensive lines that were the literal bright spot at the second half of the season.
That's why I'm willing to drink the coaching Kool-Aid on that one, because I've seen him work miracles with a lot of deep backups and then be not great, but effective.
And I'm kind of looking at that not unlike Wentz. Like, I'm willing to hold out judgment until the lights come on. Because I'm also, as Doc would say, iron sharpens iron. They're going against that D-line every single day in practice. They might get out there against Jacksonville and go, oh, these guys aren't that bad compared to our guys. So it's a wait-and-see approach, and that's dangerous. But I'm in no panic mode whatsoever. Unless on Saturday they come out against the Panthers, and the Panthers just manhandle them for some reason. Then I'm worried. Then I'm officially worried.
This is really, and maybe this will get clarified over the next couple of weeks, but this is I haven't had this feeling about a team at this juncture in a long time, which is I'm actually optimistic that they have a really good competitive roster. And I also like their schedule. So I think there's a lot of wins that are kind of sitting in front of them. But I have never had this many questions about a team that I think could be over 500. Never.
Okay.
Like, I feel like in the end, they're going to end up over 500. But I don't know how they're going to get there. And I see some massive potholes.
Fair enough.
I've never, it's weird. Like, I think they're going to end up in the playoffs. But I see their limitations, and I see the ones that could blow up in their face.
Right.
It's weird. And the other thing that really occurred to me today, after this practice, more than anything, I know that they had planned on having one of these joint practices, but it fell apart because of scheduling issues. I think they were going to have it with the Bills.
Right.
And something happened with preseason schedules for one of the two teams. Also, these guys didn't commit to where they were going to have camp for a while. Right. So I think that kind of complicated working something out with somebody. This team, of all the teams, man, they could have used one.
Yeah, I agree.
Badly. Mm-hmm. Because here we are 2+ weeks in, and I don't know what I don't know, and I think part of it is because they keep playing each other. And I think all these things that they're saying, stop being so worried about some of that stuff, or we should get a little more worried about it, would be exposed if they had a joint practice with somebody, where the other team doesn't care, right? They don't care about what your issues are. They come in to do what they're supposed to do. Right. And if they blow up the line or make Wentz look bad, then I think it's eye-opening for everybody to go, okay, what do we need to fix here? And if there was ever a year I wish they had one of those joint practices, it's with this team. And the other thing I would just say about that is, I don't understand why they can't just do this with the Ravens every year.
That's what
It'd be so easy.
I feel like with Rivera, that should be able to repair any ill will they had with each other.
Well, they play them in the preseason every year.
Yeah.
Like, they already play them every year. Like, it's too easy. Like, what you think if they put a joint practice in Navy Stadium that people wouldn't show up to watch that?
Oh, dude, they used to do. I mean, we talk about it. They used to do it at M&T, and then they used to do it at FedEx.
Yes,
they swapped out stadiums for it. They sold tickets for it.
They could do a neutral site thing and give each side's fans a certain amount and show up to something like that.
Yeah. I agree. That's something.
And it's just too easy. They're right up the street. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you're only playing them every 4 years. Like, what's the difference? You're probably not even going to play them. It's too easy. And in this case with this team, I think it was a miss this summer.
I agree.
Just in watching how they've practiced and all these things that I'm acknowledging and at the same time being told contextually, don't get too worried about it. The joint practice, I think, would have been eye-opening for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. Okay. We got a new Aaron Rodgers piece.
Oh, boy.
It's my favorite person to talk about. Anyone texting you, Callow?
Not since our first one.
Darn.
You want to plug it again? The number there?
Yeah. To text us, you're probably driving while you're listening to this. To text us, 833-377-6630. Please text Callow.
What? You don't have to. You want to weigh in on something? We'll get to you.
Okay. All right.
Bram doesn't have Twitter. It's his only way of interacting with him.
I don't have Twitter, and I'm not giving you my phone number. So
No,
not today, boys. Not today. All right, we'll be right back. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630 Sports Capital. All right, as of last week, the most recent interview we got to was a podcast from a shaman who does ayahuasca and promotes it for anybody who will listen to go to Peru and do it.
You
and
sign up for his
change your
emails?
life. I did not. I decided I don't want his emails, Aubrey Marcus, but I do like what he's talking about, and I'm open-minded to hear out his microdosing theories and how it might, maybe make me a little less fidgety and agitated and, thinking about stuff too much.
Ordering hot coffee in 95-degree mornings.
In the car, on my way to work, drinking coffee is not unusual. I'm sorry. I will not apologize for that. That's not an unusual thing to do. There are plenty of unusual things I do. That is not one of them.
I guess it doesn't matter the temperature. If you spill it on yourself, it still looks terrible. So.
Looks terrible.
Fair enough.
So it looked terrible. So I walked into camp with spilled coffee all over my shirt. So
You're that guy. There's always that guy.
Yep. Now there's this guy, Aaron Rodgers, who did a football interview with Albert Breer for Monday Morning Quarterback. Vast majority of which I won't read to you because it's about how he's, grateful to still be playing and feels like he can still do it at a really, really high level. And a lot of quotes between him and LaFleur. They're just buddies now.
Right.
They're not just player-coach, it's buddies. Both grinders. They both take it very seriously. They love each other.
No massages after practice.
No
for
massages.
LaFleur.
Nope. LaFleur's in shape. He likes that. They'll hang out. They talk ball. He's a collaborator,
Sorry,
that whole thing.
I got to clarify, that wasn't a Deshaun Watson reference. That was a Mike McCarthy reference.
That's right.
I just don't want the people to think that I'm like, oh, massages. No. Mike McCarthy was getting massages that he had to leave practice early from by the end of his tenure in Green Bay.
The other day, Rivera said something about an off day and mentioned he was like, the players are going to, just have their off day. There's massage therapists set up. He just said it, offhanded. It's one of the female reporters was like, I can't even hear that anymore the same way. She's like, I know what he meant, and I know that it was all in the up and up, and I know nobody's a criminal, but like when you just hear somebody say it now, it's just kind of ruined it for everybody.
Yes, yeah. It's not unlike Deflategate. When you hear deflate now, you're like, it's just, you get visions of Goodell and Brady and Belichick in your head now.
Yeah, at least there's that and inert gas laws, which was a terrible conversation to have. The Watson thing has ruined a lot of fun for everybody. You know that?
Yeah.
Because the vast majority of those done in a team facility, in fact, all of them, are done professionally.
Correct.
And now, like a coach just said, doesn't even think about it, just says it. And there's people going, oh, it's that kind of day, huh?
Right.
No, it's not.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was never that kind of day.
Yeah, it was never that kind of day. All right. Let's get to the good stuff with Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so he had a lot of the I'm back, I'm friends with Gutekunst, or whatever his name is. I'm friends with LaFleur. Me and LaFleur are buddies. Like, all good. All good. And he goes on and on about how the card tables are back in the locker room now. Post-COVID, he was happy the media's back in the locker room. He said,
"Okay,
all
right."
He wants everybody in his work. He's at peace. Kumbaya. Yes. Let's see. There was a hint of an edge in Rodgers' voice when I asked. This is Albert Breer, who he meant when he said last year to clarify for him who his allies were and who was on the outside looking in. And he said, quote, everyone in this locker room is in my corner. I'm talking about outside the locker room. The time he's referencing implicitly was the decision to not get vaccinated when that became public. And then, of course, he didn't lie about it, but he also didn't really tell the truth about it. What was the
word he used? Immunized or
immunized.
something? Yeah.
I'm immunized. Which he meant was I've had it, and therefore I'm immunized. Yeah. Now we know if someone says that, you have to be more specific. Mm-hmm. How are you immunized?
Right.
Which, as someone who covers a football team, wishes I never actually have to ask anybody.
Right.
Thanks, Aaron. Let's see. Those in the building knew and kept it quiet for months. He broke rules, deciding to appear publicly at a press conference without a mask to keep a secret. Eventually, he did test positive and the truth got out. Regardless of where you stand on him and his decision, there's little debating that he took a beating in the court of public opinion in November when it became public, and then he doubled down on it when he went on a couple of different podcasts, including Pat McAfee, and then said he took his advice from Joe Rogan. It's a funny sentence to read.
2020 to 2021 headline, if I've ever heard one.
Let's see. He heard all of it. He even tried not to listen to it. Of course he did. He listens to everything. And it led him to look critically at how he lived his own life and what was important versus what wasn't. So here we go. We get to the good quotes now. Here's the good quotes.
Yeah.
It's allowed me to sit with feelings of sadness and frustration and disappointment and feel deeply in my heart what those specific emotions are, and to be able to disassociate with any need to try to desperately to be liked.
Okay.
See, I've been saying this for a long time about him. He wants to be liked badly.
Well, he wants to not only be liked, he wants to be liked within like Hollywood.
Everybody.
Yeah.
He wants to be liked very badly. Pro Football Talk made fun of him for this a lot, where they were like, this guy just wants to be liked so bad. You can't criticize him. If you criticize him, like what he did was, it wasn't a lie, but it was close to it. It was close to it. Well, he didn't say he got the vaccine, which is what makes it not a lie. He did break the rules by not wearing the mask, and I do find it odd that the NFL, as far as we know, didn't do anything about that.
They didn't? I thought they fined the
Did
Packers.
They fine him?
I thought they fined him and the Packers. I thought.
Let's see. He goes on. It's not about caring less. It's about choosing what to care more about. And it's not truly leaning into what does it feel like to live a life where you're not impacted or affected by outside opinions of yourself. It's more how can that attitude affect the way that you look at other people. See, he wants to see everybody with loving eyes, and if he feels that it's coming back with distrust or hate, that he can't live within that world. He wants to be in a commune doing ayahuasca with the 100 hands and everybody's, kumbaya is what he is looking for. Kumbaya. He is going to be a shaman. He is saying everything of life coach. Everything he's talking about is life coach.
Right.
And he's going to have the background of, I've won the MVP 3 times and a Super Bowl. I'm Aaron Rodgers. And now I live in this cloud.
And I'm going to charge you $16,000 for a 3-day retreat with me.
I got to find, he seems like, you know what though? He does not come off as like he's going to be the huckster. I actually believe him when he says all this stuff, that it's actually honest how he feels about things.
Sure, but it doesn't mean he's not going to cash in.
Well, I would hope. Let's see. Here's the next one. Quote, I can't let my heart get penetrated by outside criticism and judgment and projection. And I have to balance that by making sure I'm not doing the same thing to other people. So it's been a great learning process for me on being able to look in the mirror first. As these comments have come, sit with them, and then check myself and say, in what areas of my life am I doing that to other people? So I'm really, really thankful for the experiences that I went through and for the lessons that I've learned through.
I'm almost speechless. That's a big boy statement.
He said, with discussion over his vaccination status, as he explained it, didn't really make him withdraw any more than he had, so much as helped organize how he approaches his life. Quote, there's much less clutter. It's simplifying things. Like, he was the one that pulled his toes out on the Zoom with the reporters to say he didn't have COVID toe.
Yeah, because I think it was like Molly Knight was the one that ran with a theory or something that...
Somebody wrote that, he's got
They tweeted about
He
it,
said he had a toe injury or he had a toe problem. And then someone said, well, the COVID toe thing is a thing and he just had COVID and he's not vaccinated. And then he pulled his toes out.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He still won MVP.
Let's see. Packers public relations man Tom Fanning, who's assigned to Rodgers, still gives him clips. And Rodgers will thumb through the headlines and read what he needs to, which is proof that he's not trying to cut himself off. He said the difference now is where he's investing his time outside of it. He read, I've read this book too. He read a book by Mark Manson that talks a lot about this. And this book is called, it's got a great title, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a You Know What.
Got it.
It's very good. It's funny, too. It's very funny. He goes, I truly believe indifference and apathy only rots yourself because it's so hard and truly takes your ego out of indifference and apathy. What I'm striving towards is the things that I care about, to dive into those things, and the things that I don't really care about, to find a way to eliminate the emotions associated with them. You're never going to eliminate them. You can't just turn them off. They're out there, and there's benefit to some of them. What does that mean? He is full on into the meditation, introspection phase of his life. And he feels like if he achieves this flow, that he can perform his job at a level where everybody will like him. That's the truth of it.
He's one girlfriend away.
Why is he still playing?
He's one girlfriend away.
If he hates all this criticism so much, why is he still playing?
Yeah, I was going to say he's
because the truth is, if you want the criticism to go away, you could go live in the backwoods and eat the weird berries and take part in all the ceremonies and have Blue of Earth hang out with you.
That's right.
And do a podcast here or there that nobody would notice because you're not the quarterback for the Packers anymore.
Yeah.
The reason why everyone talks about you is you're the quarterback of the Packers and a really good quarterback.
And to his point as well, I actually do feel like he's not separating himself out from the quarterback of the Packers. Like, you and I have this conversation all the time about athletes. There are tons of athletes, 99% of them, maybe not that high, 90% of them who are great people. And sometimes they're just not that good on the field, on the ice, on the court, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like Aaron needs to separate it. He's a little bit divisive, but he does seem like an overall nice guy. Funny guy, actually, really.
Very funny, actually.
You know, sometimes you have to be criticized because you play the most scrutinized position in all of sports, essentially.
Dude,
and don't take it personally.
You're in public life. Like, anybody in public life will get criticized, some to a larger degree than others. And when you pull your toes out on a Zoom call, you're asking for it. And when you quote unquote lie about whether you got a vaccine and then skirt a bunch of rules, sorry, you're going to get called out on something like that.
That's right.
Largely, though, I think most people are kind of on your side, saying you're a first ballot Hall of Famer and you're awesome. And at the same time, like, what nobody seems to be crapping on him about is they keep getting the 1 seed home games and losing in them.
That's right. That's right.
So, Aaron, I actually think you've gotten off easy there.
Uh-huh.
Like, what'd you guys score in the playoffs last year? 3 points?
Right. Exactly.
Is this 2 years in a row you guys lost at home as the 1 seed? Do I have that right?
Right. Where you guys are have the best home field advantage of anyone.
It's negative 48 there?
Right.
You played a team from California? You lost to them?
Debo's raising his hand saying, "You're welcome."
You're welcome. James G was still the quarterback?
That's right.
So, Aaron, frankly, go look at our quarterback here and what goes on with him. And I don't know. Like, I would actually say, all things considered, I'm not sure you get the amount of heat that maybe you could.
He should take his own advice. RELAX.
Yes. And also,
relax.
Here's the other thing, too. Don't go on McAfee's show every week.
Sure.
Don't engage on social media all the time. If you don't want the attention, why do you engage in things to get the attention?
Right.
Maybe you should think about that while you're on ayahuasca next time. In the meantime, though, he's falling into my category of people I love and like to talk about. Him, Ted, he's in of the people I would like to have over for dinner, he's in it now. Because I think he's got a lot of very interesting thoughts.
Yes, Bram, we'll all drink ayahuasca together.
I would love to do ayahuasca with Ted. Can you imagine that? We would be brothers forever. You imagine that?
You gotta fix the caps.
Yeah. We'd have a long talk about Bradley. The spirituality of signing Brad. Let me explain it to you after I microdose.
I saw someone, you posted, I think, on your Facebook at the stadium.
Yeah, I can't post on Twitter, so
But one of the people that commented on your picture was, "Hi, everyone."
Yes.
And it took me a second to register. Thought that was good.
Yeah. Are we making the Hey Babies bumper stickers or no?
We're undecided. It's my call.
Could you just make one? I want it.
Well, if we make one, we're going to make like 100.
You make 100. How much is it?
I don't know.
Give me the number. I might.
You might pony up. Okay.
No, see, I can't do that because then
Why?
it's like then I bought them. That doesn't make any sense.
You could sign them. People might want them at that point.
Maybe.
Your signature's like worth putting on a bumper sticker. And
I agree.
And then having it. Just
I
out
signed
there.
a couple things at the practice the other day.
Oh wow!
I was surprised people asked for it.
Were you like called out by name? Like.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. Like
okay.
I take pictures with people all the time, which I don't mind doing. Normally, nobody asks me to sign anything.
So,
because I always feel like if I sign something with a player's name on it, I'm like, I'm kind of ruining it.
Yeah. I would say, like, do you have the blank cushion ball or something like that? No offense.
Obviously I'll do it. I'm like happy to do it. I'll take I take pictures at all these things, training camp, I'll do that stuff all the time. But like signing things, I'm always feel a little weird about it. I'm like, why? Yeah, it's not worth anything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That happened at Caps camp one time. Like I got Boudreaux to sign something.
Yeah.
But I had him sign like a pennant. Mm-hmm. And he made a joke of like, "Oh, you want me to sign the thing that Ovechkin's signature's on?" And I was like, "No, coach."
He's like, "You really want me to do that?"
Would prefer not to.
Yeah, prefer you didn't do that. All right, let me take a quick break. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630 Sports Capital. This is the great Olivia Newton-John with a very popular song from the 1980s called "Physical." She, of course, was a star in the movie Grease with John Travolta, and she passed away today at the age of 73. Did she do anything in the movies that was as big as Grease?
No.
I'd have to look that up.
We throw the word iconic out, for a lot of different things. Actually iconic playing Sandy in Grease.
Yes.
Timeless when it comes to that.
Maybe the greatest film version of a musical.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
It still holds, sort of. You really got to, there's a lot of very un-PC things about that now.
Sure.
So if you're watching that with your kids, you may not remember some of the things that occur in that movie.
They're shady,
that were of the times.
But that sucker's still PG, though. It's not
within reason. A lot of it is about the T-Birds trying to get with the pink ladies.
Sure.
And it's overt.
Right.
So there's some of that.
Certain things going on.
Yeah.
But I would say it was an accurate depiction of high school.
Let's see. Singer, songwriter, actress, entrepreneur, activist, won 4 Grammys and had 5 #1 hits and 10 top 10 hits.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize her went that way. 73 years old. If I remember right, she's a cancer survivor. Let's see. Yes, she survived breast cancer. And then for a long time, she was an activist for cancer research. So Olivia Newton-John. But in the movies, I don't recall any other famous role of hers outside of Sandy and Grease. I'm sure she was in a lot of movies, but I don't remember anyone that really resonated like that. I didn't realize she had that many hits.
Oh, she was big, but it wasn't here. It was mostly overseas hits.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where it just didn't.
She's like ABBA.
There are certain artists that do this. Kylie Minogue is one of those artists. She's still huge in Australia and in Europe, but like it doesn't translate over here, and I'm not shocked. It's that Euro pop type thing where it just sometimes doesn't translate. I'm looking at her filmography right now. She was in Xanadu. She was in that. Other than that, though, you're right. It was
not much.
It was not a lot. There was some TV, some TV movies, but you're right. It's actually more her music that she was better known for, I'd guess. Not here, but overseas than that. So, yeah. R.I.P. Olivia Newton-John.
R.I.P. Olivia Newton-John. All right, let's make the easy transition to Live Golf.
Okay.
A lot of people will be watching Grease over the next couple of days with that news coming out. Let's see. Here's the latest with what they're doing now. The PGA Tour has asked a federal judge to deny a temporary restraining order to 3 of its suspended members who left to compete the rival Live Golf International Series and are seeking to participate in the FedEx Cup playoffs, arguing that the players can't, quote, have their cake and eat it too.
Oh, God.
That's in the filing. But I didn't make that up. That's in the filing. Is that a legal thing?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I got to get my brother-in-law.
Yeah,
Is that legal terminology to say, have your cake and eat it too?
Right. Do they know what that means?
The members, Taylor Gooch, Matt Jones, Hudson Swafford, are seeking relief to compete in the FedEx St. Jude Championship in Memphis, which is the start of the playoffs for the PGA Tour. I guess they had accrued enough points that they would have competed in it.
Got it.
But because they left when they left, everyone's mad at them.
Right.
In a motion filed in a U.S. District Court in the Northern District of California on Monday, attorneys representing the PGA Tour called the players' injunction request legally baseless. They go on to say, despite knowing full well that they would breach tour regulations and be suspended for doing so, plaintiffs have joined the competing golf league, Live Golf, which has paid them tens of hundreds of millions of dollars in guaranteed money supplied by the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund to procure their breaches. Whew. Let's see. Greg Norman. I believe players have the right to play when and where they choose so their talents can take them as far and as high as possible. I believe all players, whether they choose to play with LIV or the PGA Tour, understand and appreciate the purpose and importance of the players' legal actions across the globe. The PGA Tour is trying to cast this as us against them. The players know better. I think that's a better legal argument than have your cake and eat it too.
Yes.
I am still so surprised that the PGA Tour is this freaked out about this group. What do they think is going to happen if they... Do they think that they are going to, in perpetuity, pay the amounts of money they've paid to steal people away from the PGA Tour?
I think they're afraid if they don't draw a hard line, then if it does succeed, they're screwed.
Maybe.
That's what I think they're afraid of. And so
I think this initially, they tried to squelch it because the fear was we're going to have to raise our purses, which we don't want to do.
Yeah, of course.
We're going to have to put some guaranteed money in these weekends, which we don't want to do.
Got to skirt by.
Right. And they tried to lean in on, we're America, they're not. They tried that.
Right.
Meantime, the Live Golf people are the ones going, if you're America, then why are you doing all these anti-competitive things?
Right.
Why are you limiting their earnings? Why are you doing all the things that, like, the NCAA has done to its players forever?
Right.
I can't be Team Live, but I hear what they're saying, and I still believe in the end that it's going to be good for all of the golfers because they're all going to make exponentially more money no matter how we get around to it.
Right.
I'm on the PGA Tour side as a sucker for nostalgia that I don't want to see the British Open or the Masters or the U.S. Open or many of the major events on the PGA Tour that do, I think, still have a lot of value. Sawgrass, Bay Hill, Jack's Tournament in Ohio, like places like that, Torrey Pines, Pebble Beach. Like, I still have a lot of nostalgia for those things, and I don't want to see them kind of drift away because they become meaningless in this new world. So I'm kind of in the middle somewhere. I don't think the PGA Tour has much legal standing, personally. And I think the Live Tour, all they've done is just kind of exponentially change expenses. Like, I don't really think, like, are people going to follow them and replace the PGA Tour? I don't think so. Like, there's no history to it.
Right.
There's no value to their events. I think you need to attach history to something. Like, you got to win something.
Sure.
If there was no Super Bowl, people wouldn't be that interested in the NFL.
Right.
So, like, what's their Super Bowl?
Good question.
Doesn't exist.
They have to figure that out.
And that, right, if they're paying this to do the regular events, what's the Super Bowl of golf?
$1 billion.
You go to Macau, and if you win, you get the rights to pick a European country, and you own it.
It's the Dr. Evil laugh. $100 billion.
$100 billion. And they just dump it on you on the 18th green.
We have a few texts from the last segment.
Oh, we have texts. Yes.
Your average Joe tweeted in, did all of this happen while he was looking like Nick Cage on Con Air?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers last segment.
He is an interesting fellow, that guy. Yeah.
2654 tweets in again, or texts in again. He won't retire because he needs another Super Bowl to win to say he's better than Brett Favre, which I actually like that as a concept.
Brett only won one, though, right?
Brett won one or two. That's what he's saying. He wants to win one more go over Favre.
To go over Favre.
So he's better than Favre.
Oh. Why
because he's done all of this and still only has one.
Okay.
Also, I'm really dumb. The number is 1833 ESPN 630. Really easy way to just text into the show. Put that together during the last break. So there's that. Working through some things over here.
Oh, that's funny.
Because I thought, that's an odd number. What's that number?
But, you know,
mean?
like, in this day and age, does anyone really look at the letters and the numbers
Easier
anymore?
to remember.
Do you know anybody's phone number anymore? Because I don't.
No, just my parents. Because they're the same cell phone since I've been a kid. So,
yeah.
But 1833 ESPN 630. That's easier than remembering a bunch of numbers.
My daughter has a cell phone now. I don't know the phone number.
I would get that on like a business card. Just put it in your wallet, like just to have.
I don't know her phone. I mean, I have her number, but I don't know it. It just pops up with her name.
I know like 5 numbers. My old home phone number, RIP now because there's no house in Olney.
Right.
My parents' phone numbers and my.
They're at the beach now, huh?
They're around. They're gonna be at the beach.
If it's 98 here, what's it there? 207?
Don't want to know.
Yeah.
And then I could probably tell you my ex-girlfriend in high school's number because that was an old dial. You know, like that's just one that doesn't go away. So, yeah.
All right. Look at that.
Just saying. That's one you don't really forget.
Wow. She's like, you remember that? I hope she didn't hear this. She's about to text in. Stay away, creepy. Dear Creeper.
1-833 ESPN 630.
Yeah.
Chime in.
Dear Creeper, how do you remember my number, weirdo? All right, stay quick break. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630.